It's time for the Leadership Lunch Break with Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy. Let's tune in for today's discussion.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Leadership Lunch Break. I'm Joy Jackson of Speaking of Joy, and I'm so glad that you decided to join me today. And you may notice that this lunch break is a little different. I mentioned before when we started I was going to be out of my kitchen, but what I'm about to talk about relates to why I'm sitting outside because a little while ago I was working and trying to navigate some changes, the pandemic, homeschooling my children, and just all of the challenges, even being unemployed because I lost my job, and just tried to figure out what's next and how do I determine how I navigate all those uncertainties. And I'm not really a journaler, but I started writing. And as I was writing, I started writing what has now become the 5 R's to repair the weary. And the very first R is rest. So I'm outside because there's a lot going on inside the house. Christmas has begun. We've just made it through the Thanksgiving holiday, and I need time to rest. And so what I'm here to talk about today is just what that really means and how you can find ways to rest. So first, let me tell you, there is a difference between rest and between being weary. Now, what's the difference? It's really easy. Most of us, when we say we're tired, that's because we need rest. Meaning I'm physically tired, I'm sleepy, didn't get a good night's rest. So as a result, I find myself just really kind of tired, yawning throughout the day, needing a little extra pick-me-up, all of those things. And so that's really what we're talking about when I talk about being tired. And let me tell you, with my husband, I would say a lot of times, ooh, I'm so tired. And he's like, go to sleep at night, get you some rest. And I'm like, that's not what I meant. And what I realized was I wasn't communicating what was really happening to me. And what that was I'm weary. And weary is really about depletion. You know, when you get to a point where you're like, I don't have anything else to give. I don't know what's next. I'm trying to be the best wife. I'm trying to be the best mother. I'm trying to be the best friend, the best employee, the best, all of those things. And I just am on empty. And when that happened, that's when I realized I was weary. And so I realized, okay, well, what does that mean? How do I change from being weary? What am I supposed to do to make sure? And when I'm on E, how do I get better? And so for the next 5 weeks in the Leadership Lunch Break, I'm going to share with you the R's that I created to help you as you're trying to navigate your weariness. So the very first R is rest. Now, rest is super important. I'll be honest with you, as a wife and a mother and a CEO of a company now and a daughter and all of those things, it's really hard to identify what rest looks like because I had to give myself permission to rest, because when I didn't, what I felt was that something was lacking, something was missing. I wasn't really truly giving myself permission to say, I need a break. So I'm outside now because I need that break. And so when you want to rest, remember, rest is about recovery. That means if I want to be better, if I want to be rejuvenated, the best way for me to do that is to rest. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a people person. Love people, love talking to people. And people talk all the time about introvert and extrovert and what that means. But when you really look at the definition of introvert and extrovert, it's more about how you recharge. So I'm an only child, so the way I really recharge is to find time for myself. So although I love people, I love doing this type of interaction with you, the truth of the matter is I recharge by myself, and it's hard to do that when there's so much going on. So I had to learn to rest. That means I find ways to be still. That means I give myself permission to say, I need to take a break. And many times we don't communicate that, especially as leaders. We're so busy working, and doing so many things that we forget the importance of rest. So I'm going to challenge you to do a few things just so that you can rest. The first thing I'm going to challenge you to do is to do nothing. I know that's hard, right? Like literally that was hard to just, even for me to stop talking long enough to let the car pass, to do nothing. That is a challenge. But the truth is, if you want to rest, there are times where you do nothing. And nothing doesn't mean you're unproductive. It doesn't mean you're less than. It doesn't mean any of those things. It truly just means that you need to recharge. Think about it. Even with the smart cars now that are out in the world, the only way that the smart car can be charged is if it's still. So if you're starting your car and you're trying to drive the car and charge it up at the same time, even when you get gas, you got to stop in order to do that. So give yourself permission to do nothing. And I guarantee you, everything you're stressed about will still be there. So just take a moment, take a breath. And that's the next one, is just be still. I know, right? I was still and you thought maybe you lost me. But the truth is, being still allows you to recharge. It allows you to think. It allows you to clear your mind. It allows you to rejuvenate yourself. So I challenge you to be still. That means eliminate the extra noise. Turn off the phone, turn off the TV, go to your quiet place. If you're a meditator, meditate. If you're a prayer, pray. Whatever it is that helps you be still, because while you're still, that helps you become more in tune with what it is you need to do. So I challenge you, do nothing, be still, and then take a breath. When you inhale, it allows you to rejuvenate, and when you exhale, it allows you to get rid of all of those thoughts and ideas. So take a breath. That just means take a moment. So many times we react and respond, and we're able to do that, but we're doing it out of a place of depletion or out of place of being without or lack. But if you take a breath, take a moment to gather yourself. Take a moment to really think through your response or your interactions. You'll find yourself in a much better place. And then there's some things that truly you can delegate. Now, I know I'm a type A personality. I believe that I need to do it all, but I found more peace and more ability to rest when I delegated some things. That means I let my husband do the dishes or the cooking. That means I outsourced some of my marketing work. That means I gave some people some ideas and said, can you help me do this? And as leaders, we're not good with that. We truly believe that everything has to hinge on us. So we run ourselves ragged every single day, every single moment, trying to accomplish everything, when the truth is there are some things that we can actually push aside and delegate. And then the last thing I encourage you to do to really rest is to say no. Everything can't be a yes. There are times that we truly have to say, I can't. And it's not a sign of weakness to say no or I can't. It actually is empowering to be able to say, no, I can't do that. Because the truth is, we all want to put our best foot forward. And it's hard to do that when you're continuing to say yes, and you're saying yes in so many ways that you're not able to accomplish anything. So I challenge you this time, this week, this moment, to rest. Because as you rest, you will find the strength to continue. So I thank you so much for joining me. This is just week 1. I encourage you right now to go to www.speakingofjoy.com, because I wrote an entire article about this. And even in the article, there's some reflection activities that I want you to do. And then I want you to follow me on social media or share these articles so that we can have a conversation, because I want us to be the best leaders, the best people, the best everything we can be. And the only way we can do that is to figure out a way to no longer be weary. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for joining the Leadership Lunch Break. Join us next Thursday at noon Central Standard Time for lunch as we continue our discussions. Follow Speaking of Joy on all social media platforms or visit our website at www.speakingofjoy.com. That's www.speakingofjoye.com. Until next week.